So we are also live on our Instagram page and also on our Facebook page. So the Grace Hill Behavioral Health Services, we have a facility for psychiatric management and drug rehabilitation. So basically that is what we do. And Gracie Healthy Mind Initiative, of course, is the NGO run by the Grace Hill Place Hospital. So purposely for teen drug awareness and anything that has to do with your healthy mind. Sponsorship, collaboration, we are very, very open for that. So today we are going to be talking about assertiveness, and I'm just so excited. I'm so happy probably because I have a professional here with me that is going to be talking about this particular topic. In fact, she's going to do justice to it, and I'm very, very glad because personally I've been wanting to know what assertiveness is and how it can affect our mental health. So, and of course you too, you are also anticipating about that. So just briefly, a brief introduction of my guest. So her name is Gloria Kalu Oluchi. She is a clinical psychologist and also a trained counselor. So she has a certification in CBT, mindfulness, and also drug use treatment. Yeah, so she also has passion for helping people achieving and attaining a great level of functioning and wellness among them, teaching them coping skills and also providing solutions to psychological issues and problems in the world. So if you have anything, of course, Gloria is always here. So welcome, Gloria.
Thank you.
So you might want to introduce yourself, or I've already done the introduction.
Thank you.
So there's not much thing to talk about.
Okay. I'm personally happy to be here today because we're going to be talking about assertiveness. Assertiveness is something I've always loved to talk about because I believe that assertiveness is something that helps your relationship with people, how you interact with people. Assertiveness is important in those areas. So it's a very key topic in mental health. I mean, for you to be able to maintain a good a sound mental health, it's important that you are assertive because a lot of the problems that people face as regarding coping, especially when it has to do with relationship, managing their emotions, has to do with not being assertive, and that's why we're talking about assertiveness today. I'm super excited to talk about assertiveness because it's a very important topic in mental health.
Okay, so how you communicate, with people affect your interpersonal relationship and automatically affect your mental health. So it is very, very important you know this. You know how, assertiveness can really, really affect your mental health and how it can be beneficial to your mental health. So Gloria will do justice to that.
Okay, thank you. So let's talk about assertiveness. What is assertiveness? Assertiveness is basically how you can express your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, right? And your needs, how you can communicate that to the next person without necessarily hurting the next person, without consciously hurting the next person. So there is a way I can communicate how I feel. There's a way I can express my rights and not get and not hurt the next person. Okay, that's what assertiveness basically is. So assertiveness is very important because it helps you to maintain a positive emotion even when you're relating with people. And one thing that we should note about assertiveness is the fact that assertiveness is not only what you say but how you say it.
How you say it.
So being assertive requires that you are considering the other person's feelings. So it's not just about how you feel, right? Because a lot of people say, oh, I'm being assertive, I was assertive. That's not what it means. Assertiveness means that you're paying attention to how the next person is feeling, even though you are also paying attention to your own feelings. So it's like a win-win thing.
Okay.
You know this golden rule that says do unto others what you have them do for you.
Yes.
Basically, that's what assertiveness is about. So assertiveness is how can I communicate my feeling to you even without hurting you, alright? But still making you understand that this is what I want, this is how I feel about this situation, or this is how I feel about what is going on.
Okay.
That's what assertiveness is about.
Wow.
Yeah. So, when we talk about assertiveness, you can't talk about assertiveness without talking about aggressiveness.
Okay.
So, on one hand, we have being passive. On the other hand, we have being aggressive.
Okay, so before you continue, I always mix the two. So, so there was actually a particular time I used to think, you being assertive is you being aggressive.
No. Okay. So there's a thin line between being assertive and being aggressive. Okay, so I'll give an example. Okay. Someone who is passive is passing a message of I am not okay. Okay. Because people who are passive, I'm going to talk deeply about them, but people who are passive, they are not expressive. They don't express how they are feeling. So if someone hurts you, for example, you don't want to say it because I don't want problem. I'm trying to make peace. Yeah. Let peace reign. So I wouldn't talk about how I am feeling. So even if I'm dying, even if I have bad service, somebody gives me bad service, I go and pay for a product and the product is not good. Normally you're supposed to return that product and say, okay, this product is not what I paid for. Yeah. A passive person would rather keep quiet and not say anything. Okay? An aggressive person is very forceful. An aggressive person will be like, for what? Why did you do it? This is my right. They always stand up for their rights. They always want to have their way. That's for aggressive. Now, the difference between being aggressive and being assertive is that an assertive person would express her feeling or his feeling about the situation, but would not do that without considering how the other person feels about it. For example, if you were to take something that belongs to me and I want to get it back, an aggressive will be like, are you stupid? Give me back my stuff. Right? An assertive person will probably say, please, can I have that?
So it's the manner of approach.
Exactly. So assertiveness is not just in what you say, but also in how you say what you say. So assertiveness is very important in communication, in relationship. One thing that happens with passive people is that they end up being used. And that's why we talk about passive aggressive, because passive people get used. They are usually the people, if you have any gathering of people, you find the passive people as people who people usually take advantage of because they cannot speak their mind. They don't talk about how they feel or their thoughts about it. In a class, for example, you probably, for those of us that went to school, like secondary school or any kind of school, you find out that there are certain people that cannot talk. Maybe they can't answer questions in class, for example. Or if they have an opinion about something, you find them in gatherings of people. They can't express themselves. They can't go, please, I don't want to talk. If I say now, they'll say I said.
You said something.
Chicken. Those are the passive. Then the aggressive ones are the bullies.
Even if something is wrong, they wouldn't want to say it.
Even if it is wrong, even if it has to hurt them, they don't say anything about it. And that's being passive. Being aggressive on the other side is, I want to show myself, I'm the boss around here. Everybody must listen to me, everybody must do what I want. So that's being aggressive. An assertive person, however, is the one who is able to express himself, able to talk about, oh, I'm not okay with this. I can say no to you when I feel like you don't have to impose on me. Now, okay, so I'm not comfortable with this, and I go ahead and tell you I'm not comfortable. Alright? Of course, in assertiveness, there are times when you may need to compromise. Right? So if I was going to do something for you, I'm going to go out of my way to do that for you. I am not doing it because if I don't do it, you wouldn't feel good about it, or you think I'm a bad person. I am doing those things for you because I have considered that I want to do it for you. It's not from a place of feeling guilty for not doing it, but actually doing it because I want to do it. And that's assertiveness. Assertiveness, I can express myself, I can do what I want, considering the other person. Okay, let me do this for this person. It's me just making sacrifices for this person. Not because if I don't do it, unlike a passive person that will do it because if I don't do it now, She'll say I'm a bad person. Hey, say I'm wicked. Hey, that's the passive person.
Yeah.
Well, an assertive person will do it because they feel like that's the right thing to do, or they are in a good position to help at that moment.
Wow.
So that it's about
it's a whole lot.
Yes. So assertiveness is, so you see that assertiveness is just Oyibo, it's grammar.
It's English.
Assertiveness is like everything that we do.
Yeah, it's your day-to-day life.
Exactly. Your day-to-day life, your interaction with your co-workers, your interaction with school, your interaction with your parents, with older people, your interaction even with your colleagues, your bosses. You know, and one thing about assertiveness, cuts across all relationships. Yeah. So an assertive person, you show your assertiveness in anyhow you're communicating, whether upward or downward or on the same level. So if I was going to talk to my senior colleague or a boss, I would use assertiveness. If I was going to talk to someone who is younger, I would use assertiveness. If I was going to talk to someone who is on the same level as I am, I would use assertiveness. It's cut across
all levels. So there is no particular group of people or special people that you become assertive.
No. Assertiveness should be, ideally, I know it's difficult, especially for someone who has not been doing that. It's difficult for you to start really, but it's an ideal character that everybody should have, especially for your mental health. Because remember in the beginning we mentioned that it helps your relationship. If you have strained relationship with people, it has a way of affecting you mentally. So you know that how am I going to say? Now let's use an example. Someone who is being used or who has this idea of being used is going to find himself more often in a very stressful situation because you feel like people are taking advantage of you. The same way, an aggressive people usually do not have healthy relationships. People don't stay long with. They end up alone because people don't want to be. I don't want to be around someone who
personally, I wouldn't want to be around someone that is always very aggressive.
Exactly. Someone who doesn't pay attention to how I'm feeling and is constantly trying to have his way. I wouldn't want to be around that kind of person.
It's not like a selfish person.
Exactly. So aggressive people are usually kind of selfish. They're selfish people, really.
Take home.
Okay, so I already talked about being passive, yeah? So being passive, a passive person does not express emotion and is often used, they are often used because they don't express their emotion and their feelings. Okay, they're often used by others. They keep quiet when others take advantage of them or other people. So you see someone taking advantage of you and you're not saying anything. So sometimes you speak up. Okay. Now remember, which is a key thing in what I'm saying, assertiveness is not just in what you say, but in how you say it. So it means that your tone of voice also matters when you are communicating assertiveness. Exactly. Your body language. There's an assertive body language. There's an assertive way to talk, maintaining eye contact and all that. If you stare for too long, of course, that's not assertiveness. You're being aggressive. By staring too much, like.
Really? Wow! I never.
So
sometimes I see some people. I will just keep on staring.
I know that. It's aggressive now. Come on, you think about it now. Someone just looking at you like this. It's not assertive.
Thank God you know now.
A passive person would probably avoid eye contact. Would not look straight into your eyes. Would avoid your eyes. An aggressive person would stare like. Would maybe lean forward and stare at you. But assertiveness is a calm, normal tone. You maintain a calm, normal tone. Maintain eye contact, but of course not staring, but maintaining eye contact and all that. So it's also in your body language. Okay. So I was talking about passive people. Passive people can compromise their own happiness for peace to reign, just for there to be harmony, just for there to be peace. You sacrifice your own harmony. Then there are people that also they don't want to inconvenience people. So you know how you need something, you're not able to ask for your rights or the things that you need because you do not want to inconvenience someone else. So if you ask a passive person, why don't you say, please, I didn't want to disturb you. And I'm like, you're not disturbing me. Please ask me. Just ask me. If you have asked me, I would have helped. But a passive person would not ask because they don't want to inconvenience you or they don't want to inconvenience the next person.
So I have a question. So you can decide to answer the question at the end of your talk.
Okay.
So how does being passive affect your mental health? Because from what all you've said, like it's actually going to have
Of course
a very big toll.
Of course it does. We already talked about the fact that you don't get, you're often used.
So you feel used?
Yes. So I've been in situations, I've been in the midst of groups where you find someone in the group who is, okay, those people are usually very lovely people who actually, in all honesty, passive people are usually very lovely. They want to do everything to please everybody. You are not passive. I don't think you're passive.
No, I think I'm passive.
I don't think so. We'll talk about it later. Let's not fight.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that one.
Okay, I'm passive, okay?
She's not passive, guys. Don't listen to her. Okay, so you find them as very lovely people. So they always want to help. They always want to be there. And you find out that because of this, a lot of people take advantage of them. So if I come to a room now and I see this very quiet and lovely guy that is always willing to help, I'm like, please, can you help me get my bag? And he carries my bag. Oh, so please, can you help me bring my shoe? And I carry my shoe. You find that everybody begins to ask, hey, please, go and bring
my shoe.
Go and do this. And you get, without really considering the person. And after a while, the guy might be like, what is it? Am I the only one in this room? Can't you ask someone else? So it's something that usually happens when we're dealing with passive people, because they usually end up being used, yes. And they are always very submissive in the presence of aggression. So when they see aggressive people, they shiver. Yeah.
So it's not like you don't know what to do.
It's not like, but because of that temptation of not wanting to hurt people, you end up hurting yourself. So it's so assertiveness is, you don't hurt anybody, but don't hurt yourself too.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm a Christian and I'm going to use the Bible. The Bible says, love your neighbor as
yourself.
Yourself, not more than yourself. Wow. Not that you now hate your neighbor. No, as you love yourself. So you need to love yourself too. So if I'm going to do this for you, how does it affect me?
Okay.
How does it affect me? So that's very important when we're talking about assertiveness. Then the aggressive people, of course, very argumentative, always want to have their way. They get angry when they think people are trying to take their position. They're very competitive.
So they always put up this defense mechanism. So even before you do anything, they are always
they have to be afraid of me. You know, they are very opinionated, have very strong views. As in, you have to listen to them. Okay, most times they don't listen to other people, and that's about aggressive people. Okay, and aggressive, of course, you know the aggressive way of talking. You raise your voice. They always want to shout. They always want to look at you, stare into your eyes, or put up this defense mode of you can't talk to me. What's that? You know,
I think I've seen a few persons.
Of course, a lot of people.
Aggression.
A lot of
serious
people,
aggression.
A lot of people. And funny enough, me, I know that I'm an assertive person, but some days, those aggressive parts come. So it's just something that you need to be conscious of. You need to be conscious of when you're dealing with people. And very important about assertiveness. Assertiveness is not just when you are happy or when you're sad. Even when you are in emotionally charged situation, your ability to control your emotions.
Exactly.
It's part of assertiveness. Not like, I'm angry, everybody know I have hot temper. Come on, that's not being assertive. Assertiveness means that even though I am angry, in the midst of my anger, in the midst of tense emotions, I am still able to manage it. How I speak to the person, what I say to the person, how I go about doing what I am doing, even in the midst of tense emotions. So that's for aggressiveness. So you see how passive aggressive. Yeah, there's passive aggressive. Passive aggressive is where you're not saying anything but you're shaking. I'm quiet. I'm not saying anything.
You have something in mind.
You too, you will know that.
You will know that this person, the way this person is quiet, you know, there's something coming after the quietness.
Like someone just talks to me and I just look at you and I just bang the door. Bam! I didn't say anything to you, I didn't say anything, but I'm being passive aggressive. So there's that part of being passive aggressive. And of course, assertiveness, which is our topic for today. Assertiveness. An assertive person expresses their desires and feelings. So I can say I'm not cool with what you're doing. I can say, oh, I love you. I can say thank you. I can express my feelings. I can express my desires. Please, can I have that?
Okay.
Oh, I'm not comfortable with this. Can you help me with this? You know, every single time that I am interacting with people, I am able to express how I feel about the situation. I don't think this is cool, and I can always talk about it. I can say no to you, even when, if you come and make requests of me or ask me, make demands, I can say no. I can say, I'm sorry, I can't help you at the moment. Politely, and not feel bad about it, which is important.
Yes.
And not feel bad about telling you no, because sometimes we feel like we shouldn't tell people no. People are going to make a lot of demands on you, and come on, you're not the Messiah. Someone says you're not El Shaddai or you Shaddai. If you become El Shaddai, you Shaddai. So you're not the Messiah. You're not trying to save everybody. Okay, so you need to understand that people will make crazy demands on you. Oh my God, if you're a worker, if you're a business person, a worker, and you are earning somehow, you know that people will make a lot of financial requests from you. That's if you're not careful.
So it reminds me of this saying that you just have one credit alert, and you have like 100 debit alerts. From that one credit alert you have.
Exactly.
So know that people are definitely always going to make demands from you.
Make demands on you. So you need to prioritize. Of course, you need to prioritize to know which is important. And of course, you have to nicely decline when some demands are made that you
nicely
decline. No.
So you can't accept everything.
Exactly. Normalize declining requests from people. People are going to ask crazy things from you. People are going to ask things that even them they cannot do for you. They will ask you. So but you need to be able to say, I'm not sorry, I can't do this. I can't do this. You need to normalize declining. Saying no. Saying no is like one of the beautiful gifts that we have actually. The ability to say no. Just say no. Don't say the no in advance. Just say the no.
So even
but please say the no assertively. That's what we're talking about. Okay. Another thing about assertive people that is very interesting is that an assertive person is able to disagree and still retain friendship. So we don't have to agree on everything. Okay, so even though we don't agree on it, we'll still maintain our friendship. We can have an argument and still be friends. And still, that's assertiveness. Okay, they can say. I already talked about the fact that they can say no and not feel bad about it. Okay, and they can refuse requests. They know how to control their feelings and emotions. I mean, you don't need to act on how you're feeling all the time. Even if you're angry and you are enraged, we don't need to act on it. So that's a few about being assertive.
Wow.
That we'll talk about. And of course, the advantages now is first of all, it helps your mental health. That's the general advantage.
Very important. The first thing first, your mental health.
It helps your mental health. You feel at peace within yourself, knowing that you have strengthened relationship. So one thing about assertiveness is that assertiveness gives you both the benefits of being passive and being aggressive. You know there's benefits in being aggressive because people will not cheat you. You can stand for your right. Exactly. People will not take you for granted. Exactly. That's for being aggressive. For being passive, the advantage could be people will love you, you're a helpful person, you're polite, But the only problem with this being passive is the other effects. Like for being aggressive, you are hurting people. For being passive, you are hurting yourself. So assertiveness helps you to balance
both passive and aggressive.
Exactly. The benefits of being passive and
so can someone be passive and aggressive at the same time?
Yeah. Can be, yes. In fact, people who are passive, oftentimes they jump from being passive to being aggressive because after a while, if someone is taking advantage of you, it gets to a point where you are like, I beg, I'm done, and you want to react. And that's why sometimes someone will have a fight and you're trying to settle and you wonder what happened, and the person say, oh, you can't see what this person did for me. And you'll be like, is it this small thing that this person, and the person will just be like, he has been doing these things. Exactly, because you have been passive all along. Then all of a sudden,
and the passive person has been piling it up, waiting for that day to, give it.
The emotions are building up, and one day you just have an outburst. And people are like, is it just a small thing? It's not that small thing. It has been happening since, and the person didn't say anything. So so it helps you to have a positive relationship with people. You will just be a loving person. People will enjoy. And I noticed that. This is one thing I've gained personally from practicing assertiveness, that people will thank you for it later. People will thank you for it later. Like, even though at moment when you're saying no to that person, for example, you're refusing that request, it may seem like, oh, you are not being considerate or whatever. But after a while, the person will appreciate you because within yourself, you feel satisfied within yourself and you know what you are doing, right? You're helping, but you are intentionally doing it. You're not just doing it because you don't want them to feel bad about you and all that. So then negative emotions, you experience less negative emotions, which I've already said many times. So, back to your question.
Yes, please. Very important.
Okay. So you asked how assertiveness affects your mental health.
Yes.
So the major thing that I would say is that assertiveness helps you to reduce stress.
Okay.
I really know that stress is a high trigger for mental health breakdown. Stress can be caused by strained relationships. If you have strained relationships, you feel stressed.
Toxic relationships.
Exactly.
Personally, I try to avoid any form of toxic relationship because I'm very careful about my mental health.
I'm suspecting you though.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's alright. So toxic relationships.
Take a deep breath.
That's the exact feeling. That's the exact feeling I had. Like no to toxic relationships.
No.
But assertiveness helps you to reduce stress. It helps you to reduce stress because it helps you to build self-confidence.
Yeah.
Now, your ability to express yourself, express how you feel, builds up your self-confidence. I mean, you're confident in yourself, confident enough to say, oh, this is what I want. You know what you want, right? You know what you want, and you're not afraid to confidence and help you to express your feelings also. Then assertiveness also helps you to reduce stress by helping you to recognize your feelings and when you are having that negative build-up of emotions. Like if someone offends me and I'm really angry, in the midst of my anger, one thing I always tell myself, and I always tell my clients, they used to laugh at me sometimes, say, this girl will say, why are you doing this? They always say that to me and it's very funny. But one thing I always say is that when I am feeling those intense emotions, I just tell myself, you're angry. Why are you angry? Now, it helps me to be conscious of how I am feeling because I'm talking to myself about how I am feeling. Helps me to know that even though I am feeling angry, I have a tendency to lash out. I have a tendency to insult this person. I have a tendency to react in certain ways. And of course, I don't want to ruin my relationship with this person. After this conversation, after this disagreement we are having, I still want to be able to greet this person and talk to this person. So it helps me to guide how I express how I'm feeling. So it helps me a lot. So it helps you to understand and recognize your feeling and when you are beginning to have negative emotions build up. And another thing that assertiveness does for you is that it helps you to earn respect from people. People will respect you. People will respect you. Respect is reciprocal. If I don't talk down on you,
and you earn respect, you don't command.
No, you don't. You earn respect. Respect is earned. And one way you can earn respect from people is by being assertive. Right? If someone knows that, no, I know this person. People need to know you as someone who is straightforward about how you feel, about your principles. Like, have some level of principle. Like, people know you for something. So, if people know that this person, if she's not comfortable with it, she will let you. It helps them to respect you. Yeah. People will not just make some kind of demands, anyhow demands on you. They'll be careful in how they approach you. Even when they're making demands on you, they will be mindful of the kind of demands they make because they know that you are expressive. You would stand up for what is right. You stand up for what is right. When someone gives you bad service, it's okay to walk up to the person and say, "This is not what I paid for. I paid for something better. You're giving me bad service," because it's part of being assertive. Not that you're not trying to talk down on the person or. Of course, some people these days of social media, people just go on social media and be posting a lot of things. That's not what we're saying, right? Exactly. Talk to the person. Say, talk to me eyeball to eyeball. Sorry, but just talk to the person. Let the person know that okay, this thing you're doing I'm not pleased by this service. I would rather you give me something better, or I can't pay for this. But communicate it, and that's being assertive. Assertiveness is also good because it helps you to improve communication, how you talk to people. It helps you to communicate effectively. Then it creates a win-win situation. So remember, I am okay, you are okay.
So nobody is preying on anybody.
Nobody is
So
cheating
we are all
anybody.
doing fine.
We are doing good. So
I think I'm going to be practicing assertiveness.
you should.
Henceforth.
You should. Everybody should.
But I know I'm assertive. Yeah, I know I'm passive assertive. Is
Like say passive assertive. I don't know. Please, guys, there is nothing like passive assertive. You don't stick to her. So it's either you're aggressive or you're passive or you're somewhere. I don't know where you are, but
okay.
assertiveness.
The
thing is, it's like I said, it's a skill. Assertiveness can be learned. Nobody was born assertive. Come on, of course, in our African environment, our kind of upbringing, most of us, unlike the whites that are always told, oh, you can speak up, they say, oh, mommy, this. In Africa, you are shut down most times. You're not allowed to talk to adults.
You can't speak up.
You can't speak up. You can't speak how you're feeling. Why did you say that? That is your elder, and that's like a normal African reaction to things. So we're not born assertive. In fact, we're not cultured to be assertive. No.
So you learn it.
Assertiveness is a skill, right? Of course, we do a lot. It's a full therapy. Assertiveness training is a full therapy that people come for when they are having.
So you can come to Gracefield for your assertiveness.
Exactly. If you are finding difficulty managing your emotions, please just send us a DM. We're here to help. We're here to talk about how you're feeling, help you to become assertive. Assertiveness is a whole training. This is just a crash course. If there's anything crasher than a crash course,
it's a whole lot.
This is what it is.
It's a whole lot.
So it helps you to improve your win-win decision making. So one time I had a client that we spoke about something about assertiveness, and it was like, oh wow, I used this at work and it worked. I felt cool about it. He felt good about it too. And that's how it feels when you're being assertive. You are able to, you're able to make better decisions. It helps in your decision making. You're able to make better decisions. You're able to have better relationships with people. Assertiveness is cool like that. All right, and
So thank you.
So is there anything you want to talk about?
You've said it.
Okay.
You've said it all. So one more thing before we call it a day. So how can you improve your assertiveness skill? Because you said it's something we can learn.
Yes.
Right. So I would like to know, and I'm sure those of us that are watching or joining in this program would also want to know how to improve their assertiveness skill.
Okay. The first thing I would say is learn how to express how you're feeling.
Okay.
Right? Learn how to, bearing in mind that you are not doing it to hurt the other person, but normalize open expression of how you feel. You can start out, if you're not very confident about doing that to someone, maybe you're a shy person or someone that's not, of course, I've been passive over the years. Maybe you could write it out. Write out what you want to say to the person. I mean, I've had to do that a couple of times where I had someone annoyed me and I was really upset. And I know that if I go to communicate, I might get aggressive or I might maybe start crying or become emotional. I write out how I feel, like what I want to say. I write it out, the points, and I come to the person and I read off the book. So you know that this is it. This is the issue we're trying to address here. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with this. I think we can work on this. So practice open expression of how you're feeling. That's number one. Then also learn how to communicate your views very honestly. Be honest about how you're feeling. Because even the thing about emotion is that emotions don't just vanish. I mean, if you don't communicate it, if you don't deal with it, if you have a certain emotion and you don't deal with it, it will just be there. What you're doing is you're just suppressing it. And one day it's going to burst. Do you get? So communicate your views. This is how I feel about this. And yes, use the word I feel, not this is how it should be. In fact, assertiveness is also in your use of language. The kind of words you use. So I feel this is not right. It's your feeling, alright? So this, when you say I feel this is how this should be, it means that you are also paying attention that the other person also has an opinion. The person has a view. So you're not saying this is no, or someone will say, I used to say that learn how to separate people from acts, from things that happen. So instead of saying you are this, you are this, you are always coming late, you are always, you see the word, you are always, what is that person always coming late?
So just say, I feel.
Exactly, I feel.
I feel you can come earlier.
You were late today. You were late today. Now that's being specific. So you need to be honest in how you communicate your views. You need to put into perspective the other person's
Oh my God.
emotion. So you need to put into perspective. Then also you need to keep your rights in mind. You need to know your rights. Okay.
Yeah.
So of course this is a short video, so we might not be able to talk about your assertive rights.
It's a whole lot. So we are now running out of time.
Yes, exactly.
we have limited
assertive
time. So if there is a need, we could do maybe a part 2 of this. If there is a need, or if you, the viewers, want, we could do a part 2.
Yeah, if you want us to talk about assertive right, maybe you should just drop something in the comments so we can see it and do it. Well, assertiveness is a lot. Man, come on.
It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot.
You know we have spoken for this time.
It's a whole lot. So thank you so much for.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining. I think you can drop your questions.
Yes, so I think we have some comments here. So just let me go through it and
okay.
Wow, we have a lot of comments.
Question?
Okay, so someone said, I hope we'll be able to rewatch this. Yes, of course.
Yes.
So you can, after now, you can go to our YouTube channel. So we have a YouTube channel, Grace Hill Behavioral Health Services. So not just this video. You can watch previous videos that we've done on mental health talk with Evelyn. And we also have other videos too that are there. We also have love and mental health. So anything pertaining love and your mental health. Relationship, marriage, couple counseling and all that, you can join us and you can watch our previous sessions on YouTube. Then we also have question and answers with Dr. Edebi. So you can also watch our previous videos, not just this one. Oh, okay. So there are some comments I'm saying. It's just compliment anyway.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for your comments. Okay, so I'm trying to. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, then someone said. Okay, someone said the lady on set is very assertive. We can hear you very loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you. So we'll start practicing assertiveness, even while doing this video. Thank you. So I'm trying to. So one can be assertive and not be seen as a strong-headed person, right?
Yes. Yeah. So once you're we're now seeing you as a strong-headed person, then
you are being aggressive.
Maybe you're doing too much. So it's just a thin line.
Yeah.
It's just a thin line. And the thin line between being assertive and aggressive could just be in the how. How you do about it. How do I mean, if I tell you sit down, I say sit down. I just sit down. There's a how. Like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot of training.
It's a lot. So you need to, Okay, someone said, please, is well. Let me skip that, please. Okay, so I think we have. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so someone said, learn how to separate people from their actions. Yes, it is very, very important to learn how to separate people from their actions.
Don't label people. People make mistakes. Come on, But the thing is, people are very quick to make excuses for themselves. But they're not easy. It's not easy to make excuses for other people. You need to normalize. Putting yourself in people's shoes. I think that's the basic thing about assertiveness. Just be empathetic. Put yourself in the place of that person. If I was the one that made this kind of mistake, how would I want to be spoken to? How would I want to, how would I want people to address me? Now, the same way you would want to address yourself, that's the way you should address others. So it's a whole lot.
It's a whole lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Gloria.
I'm so
Gloria is a clinical psychologist. I've said that before. For those of you that are just joining in, she's a clinical psychologist. She's also a trained substance abuse counselor. So thank you
guys
for joining in. So I'm seeing some familiar names here. those of us that joined, thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll be having this episode again next week, Wednesday. So the program is called Mental Health Talk with Evelyn. So it's a program for mental health education. So if you want to know more about mental health, trending issues concerning your mental health, this is a program for you. So we do it on all our platforms. So we do it on our Facebook page, Instagram page. So we're also sharing live on our Facebook page for those that are on Facebook to also, follow and see. So after this video, it's also going to be posted on our YouTube channel. So you can always refer to our YouTube channel at Grace Hill Behavioral Health Services. So thank you for joining in. Till I come your way next. So I hope when you join me again next time, because this thing is beginning to get interesting. So thank you so much for joining in. Do have a lovely day.
Yeah.
Bye
Everyone.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's end this.
Are we going to get the comment? That's good enough. We didn't get the comment.